Hello everybody, welcome to tonight's Sublime Text Live. We got a couple of things planned regarding plugins and hopefully not choking to death on stuff. How's everybody doing? It has been a week since the last time we gathered together here on the channel. I've missed y'all. We're going to work on a few different plugins here. Now, we have been ostensibly working towards a new release of Override Audit, and maybe we will continue on with that tonight. There's one last thing to do before we can finalize a release, but there were a couple of other things that I wanted to work on first. One, an answer to a question that someone had on Stack Overflow, even though they already have come up with an answer on their own because they're using Sublime Text 2 instead of Sublime Text 3 or 4. But also I wanted to take a look in on the pipe text package that we worked on a few months ago. I can't remember exactly when it was that we did that. And we're going to be able to see, can we deploy that as an actual package? What would it take to take that package and actually get it out there into people's hands? And then we could perhaps wrench on it after that. That is something that is based on code that was written by Keith Hall, my good friend Keith. You may know him as King Keith, depending on we might have experienced the Sublime Text community. So we would, of course, make sure that he's okay with that before we release it. He would be a co-author, of course, but he came up with an original plugin idea. We kind of fleshed it out just a little bit. We could see what we can do with that. For the time being, though, we're going to jump on in here. Now, remember, in Sublime Text Live, as in all of my live streams here on YouTube and on Twitch, which you can find linked down in the description below. If you have any questions about anything Sublime Text related, whether it is related to what we are doing at the time or not, you feel free to shout it out in the chat. There's a bot that should do that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Do not be worried about derailing anything. That is why we were here to hang out with the community, to have fun, to answer questions as best as we can, and work on Sublime Text related things. If you have ideas for plugins that we could perhaps work on, that'd be fantastic as well. And you can also provide that kind of information and questioning not only in live streams, but also in the comment section of videos or in Twitter, the forum, the Discord, mine and the Sublime Text one, and many, many places. So feel free to do that at any point in time. For now, we're going to hop ourselves in and do the coding. Let me swap on over to this window just as things are actively going. Whoop, whoop. So the first thing that we're going to look at here is something related to, this is a bountied question. Shortcut to open the currently opened files folder left panel. In short, this is This particular person, BashJ, still using Sublime Text 2, using it on Windows, which should explain why they're managing to use it for such a long period of time, because it flat out will not work on macOS anymore and has been out of support for many, many years now. But the gist of the question is, what if we had a file open and we wanted to have its folder added to the sidebar? Is there a way to do that? And the answer to that is there's totally a way to do that in Sublime Text 3 and Sublime Text 4. It's really rather easy. In Sublime Text 2, not so much. That's a little bit more complicated because, pardon me, Sublime Text 2 does not have the same plugin API as the others do. In particular, you can see the contents of the sidebar folders. You can't see the actual content of them, but you can see what folders are open there. But you can't modify it, at least not that I've been able to see, without doing a little bit of external work. But is it possible for us to construct a plugin that would allow a context menu to open? This says open containing folder, copy file path, reveal in sidebar. What if we had an open file folder in sidebar? And we can totally do that, and we can just create a new plugin to get started with that. Now, because this is the first thing we need to think about here. There is a command that we're trying to create. It is something that is specific to a window, in that in this window we're going to want to modify the properties of the sidebar, but it's file based in as much as we want to be able to grab the name of the file that the thing is in. And I think this is probably best done as a window command. We'll even spell window properly here, because there'd be only one instance of the command per window, and it really is a window state thing that's changing. And we can always modify, or rather gather, the name of the currently selected file. It's one of those things that there's really no right or wrong. It'll work both ways. You could even do this even as an application command as well, and then there'd only ever be one instance of it. But I think about a little something like that. We will do a little pass on that, and we need to give this a name. And the name, let's see, the other things are probably called open, okay, not open containing folder. We might just call this add file folder to sidebar. And if we browse commands, is there a, well, actually, let's do this. There is an actual thing. There, they're calling it sidebar. So, new file at, new folder, rename path. This is the commands that are actually implemented. You can see these are actually also window commands as well. So, we would probably want something like that. We'll save this as add file folder to sidebar, and we will go ahead and copy this so that there's related reading, as we often do in these things, which will allow people to get some context into why we're creating what it is that we're creating. For this, let's say we do something like print self.window.activeView.file name, like so. We might define is enabled and return self.window.activeView.file name is not none. So this would be something that is marked as disabled and thus won't allow itself to run if the current tab doesn't have its name saved, and otherwise it will. I like to have a sidebar of other stuff here, so I'll just sort of scoot that over to the side, just like so. If you have questions about what it is we're doing here, you feel free to ask those down in the chat. So with that, we're going to need to open the user context menu. I have a couple of different things in here, but for our purposes, we can do something like command. It's going to be what? I already forgot the name. Add file folder to sidebar. Add file folder to sidebar. Long name, but you know, tells you what it does. That's for sure. It doesn't take any arguments, so we'll just add a caption in here that says add this. Well, I'll call it add file folder to sidebar, like so. Now, right click on it. We theoretically see it in here. Oh, did that actually saved, right? Oh, hang on. Sublime.log commands. There we go. Add file folder to sidebar. Add file folder to sidebar. That is the, oh, that's the context menu, right? Yeah. Oh, it's up here. Pardon me. How did we manage that? Let's look at the default context menu. We do something like that, so that it ends up in a place that you might expect. We might also make this smart enough to not do this if the files folder is already in the sidebar. Let's do that. All right, now we're going to assume that this could be for Sublime Text 3 or Sublime Text 4, so we're not going to rely on anything that is Sublime Text 4 specific in here. I don't know that that necessarily really matters in our particular case. We could actually maybe even make this work in Sublime Text 2 as well. That might be interesting. If we did something, oops, like something like, yeah, let's clear the console so we don't need to see all that stuff. Window.folders is an empty list. So what do we actually want to do when we get this thing? We're going to need to import OS. That's for one thing. I can't remember. I've done so much stuff and other stuff I can't remember exactly how that actually works. Hang on. Never let it be said that I have a good memory for things that are not directly Sublime Text related. What we would say is Python get path from file name. I know it's going to be simplistic, but I got so many different APIs blunking around in my head. No, we don't want to split it, do we? Oh, what's that path, that dir name, I bet. Yeah. That makes sense. Now the real question is, what does this look like for something that's open in Windows? I'm going to test something in a off-screen thing here. So I can see, because want you All right, that's good. It actually tracks the name of that. So we can worry about whether or not it's going to work on Windows based on file name differences, but those should be the same in both cases. So the path is going to be self.window.activeView.filename. Okay, that's going to grab the path of this thing. Woo. Husky, hello, welcome. Oh, that is ridiculous. How do, sir? Hey, hey. Are you still in town, or are you oot and to boot? How was the ferry ride? How long is the ferry ride to Nanaimo? Is it, wait, is Nanaimo on Vancouver Island? I don't even know. When I think of it, my mind immediately goes to Nanaimo bars and I lose track of geography. Huh, not too shabby. I think the trip to Salt Spring is like 2 hours. I think so, yeah. It's been a long time since I've actually done that particular situation. Returns a list of the currently open folders. Yeah. Alright, so we got that. We don't need you. We're going to be able to add this to the file here. Let's just go ahead and do that right now. That way we don't need to remember. Let's do that instead. Actually, let's do this. Add folder to sidebar. Reveal in sidebar. Oh, hang on. Are these things always all capitalized? No. Folder to sidebar, like that. Yeah. Now, why are we currently disabled is the question of the hour here. Because it should be enabled. Oh, because I broke it. Here we go. Then now we can do it. If self.window.activeView.filename is not none, then path equals os.path.dirname. And we can return path in self.window.folders. Otherwise, like that. All right, so that's currently disabled in theory because that's not in the sidebar. But once we add this in, we'll be able to check and see. And we can do a little bit of factoring in here too, because we're doing the same thing twice. So we may want to tweak that up a little bit. Like we may be able to want to say get active path, let's say. Get current path. And then we could do something like that here. If self window active view file name is not none, return that, return none, and then here you can get it. Self get current path, and then we could maybe return path is not none and path not in self.window.folders. That seems like it might do something. If I change this from a not to an in, then it's disabled. So that part's good. And here, it's definitely disabled. So we don't need you, we don't need you. I'll just scoop that over there for the time being. We don't need that tab any longer. We can get back to what it was that we were doing. All right. So, we can say path equals self dot get current path. Maybe we'll actually spell that correctly. Now the nice thing about this is that this makes the command only be enabled if there is a current file and it's not in the sidebar, which means that the only time the run method actually gets executed is when the path for this file isn't already in the sidebar. So the first thing we need to do is get that. Then we need to add it to the list of files in the sidebar. Half of it was right, sorry. I forgot about the last night part. Now being like, but it's currently light outside. How did it end up being dark? It's not that far south. But yeah, last night, that makes sense. How late was the sailing that it was dark? Hey, Cyberlanka, hello. We're doing good. We are working a little bit on some Sublime Text plugin action that is related to a question that someone asked in the Stack Overflow. Not that one, mind you, but this one here. Kabam. The guy wants to be able to add file folders to the sidebar, but he doesn't want to use the file picker, and he doesn't want to. He's using the wrong command there for the one thing, but we can fix that. And we're making up a little plugin here. So what we've got so far is a context menu with that content in it. That's just a comment there so that this thing is self-documenting. When you right-click, it'll allow you to add a files folder to sidebar. And if you have a file that doesn't already have if it doesn't have a name yet, it'll disable itself. And we're going to make this so that it grabs the current path and adds that folder to the sidebar. And that should solve their problem. We might even see if we can adjust this such that it will work in Sublime Text 2 as well. We'll see how well that goes. Yeah. What time is it now? 8? I guess it does get dark about then, doesn't it? Normally I'm, hiding inside at the computer. I lose track of when exactly that sort of thing is happening. All right, so here's a fun thing. Don't do that. We can ask Sublime what folders are currently open in this window, and it'll tell us. But there's no direct way, as far as you could see if you were looking at the API documentation, to actually add something in there. There's folders, and that's it as far as things you can do on the windows. You can get the list of folders, but you can't do anything else. So how do we actually add a folder to the sidebar? Well, it turns out that if we push the right key, we could get project data. I always forget that it's not orthogonal. This returns the project data associated with the current window. This is the same format as the Sublime project file, which contains the list of folders that are open in a window. The neat thing about this is that all windows have project data associated with them, even if it's not directly persisted to disk in a Sublime project file. So we can grab out the project data, we can update it to have a folder in it, and then put the data back. And when you do this, if there was a Sublime project open, that'll just automatically add that, update the file on disk directly as well. So it's a keen little thing. So if we did window.project data, it doesn't return anything if there isn't any anonymous project data. Now, when I say that all windows have project data with them, I don't mean that. It's kind of a misnomer, because as you can see, it doesn't technically have any, but it can. It's referred to as anonymous project data. So we can say project data is equal to window.project data or an empty thing. We might actually even make that a call instead of just a function. So that's going to call this. We might actually also even say self.window.project data. Get the project data for this window. If that returns none, then make an empty object, essentially. It most certainly is. I may not be able to assist with it because I don't know a ton about LSP, but I can certainly give it a crack. Questions are always allowed, no matter what it is that it looks like we're doing at any given time. In order to test this, we need to know that we have to add a folders key, and we have to add a path to it, like so. So let's just stick this in here like that. Project data folders or that. And then we can say folders.append. That's how that works, right? Maybe. That'll do. Yep, cool. Okay. Then we can say project data folders is equal to folders and window window.set project data. That should be enough to get this going, theoretically. Oh, right. Too much JavaScript. Still no? What have we? Oh. Right. Oh, boy, that's unfortunate. I think we corked it, because that's not what that's supposed to look like. Do LSP features just stop working when there are multiple instances of Sublime open? I usually do an LSP server restart and everything. I wouldn't think so. I mean, by multiple instances, you mean multiple windows, right? That I have definitely had that working for me. The main thing that I use LSP for myself is TypeScript, and in that case, I can have multiple projects open in separate windows on the same system, and LSP works for all of them. What server is it? Maybe it's crapping out because of that. Should definitely be fine with something like we have here with the split view. Yeah, it shouldn't just be related to one file. It should be related to anything that you'd like to do. Let's do that, because I did that wrong. We were supposed to say that. Yeah. No, that should totally work. I don't know if have you tried doing that? Yeah, I use that too. That definitely works for me. So if that doesn't work for you, that is definite. That should definitely work. Here, just to see what'll happen. I don't even know if it'll work here. Because I don't have that installed locally. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Guard your eyes. Oh, they fixed that problem, right? This is something to try. See what that shows you. And I got to that by inside of the window, choose LSP troubleshoot server, and then pick the server, which in your case would be LSP TypeScript. I don't have it installed on this system because I only do TypeScript code at work currently, although that'll be changing soon in some upcoming Twitch live streams. If you pick that, it'll test things out and see, and perhaps it'll find some issue with what it's doing that's causing it to go all sideways on you. Apart from that, I would highly recommend, if that doesn't solve the problem, in the official Sublime Text Discord, there's a dedicated LSP channel, and the authors of the package hang out in there. They would definitely be able to assist with that further. But no, it's definitely intended to work with as many windows as you like. Hopefully that is it's not the greatest answer, but if the troubleshooting thing points out any error messages, you can share those up in here, and maybe we can work out together what that actually means. Well, that worked, and it's hidden now. So quality is job 1. Cool. And then we will say get the project data out of the window, and then the list of folders out of the project data. Oops. Add in a folder entry for the current path, current files path. Whoops. And update the project information in the window. This will also update the file on disk. There is one. Alrighty. We don't need that part anymore. As plugins go, that's actually pretty tiny in order to cause something like this to work. Cause the command should only be enabled if the current file has a file name on disk and the path to that file isn't already in the list of folders that are open in this window. You know, I'm test driving the new stippled rulers setting in this latest dev build, and I'm really loving how that looks as a ruler compared to the dotted version of previous. I also played around a little bit with the solid version, but it didn't seem quite as cool to me as that does. Will return none. The current file doesn't have a name on disk yet. And hey Ashwin, how you doing? What is the good word? Well, we've had news of weird LSP problems, and Husky Puppers told us about his ferry ride, which was kind of long and partially in the dark, but he made it safely home. This command will add the path of the currently focused file in the window to the sidebar. If the current file does not have a name on disk, or its path is already open in the sidebar. Managed to spell it correctly. Python graphical debugger. Hello, by the way. I have never done that. You're talking about the debugger package that is available for Sublime. I've never used a Python debugger myself. The only 99.999% of all of the Python code that I've ever written has been in a plugin in Sublime Text, which kind of obviates actually having to run it inside of a debugger. There is on package control a package called debugger, which theoretically would allow you to do such a thing. Is there a list of... there you go. Is this the package that you're trying to use? Install a debug adapter. Ooh, does this actually install stuff? Oh. Hey, that's nice. Huh. Here, hang on just 1 second here. I just want to, before we go anywhere, make sure that's cool. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more on this, but for that, let's see what we can work out. Because I've never used that before, so it'll be an interesting thing to see how that all works out. We're going to say we need a new window for that. Now let's install a package. And we'll see what we can work out here. Because this is the sort of thing that I find kind of fun, working with new technologies and seeing if there's something we can do to get it to work. Take your sweet time gathering the list of stuff. Why don't ye? Everybody having a good week so far? All right, we installed the debugger package. Boom. For getting set up, see this. All right, well, let's just go ahead and do that as a first principle. That's just some changelog stuff. Let's say we don't necessarily care about any of that. Man, quite a bit of action in there. Now, if we're going to go back over to this page, use the package control, run install package, select debugger, done. This project attempts to match Visual Studio's code debugger fairly closely, so their documentation can be pretty helpful. This comes with some pre-configured debuggers, one of which is for Python. So this says open the debug panel from the command palette, debugger open. Can do. I guess we need a project. Do we have something that's Python related? You got the secret. Did you tell them you have the secret sauce? Local source, maker, Sublime debug test. Let's do something like that. We'll add that in there and save the project into that location. Of course, you're not going to remember that, are you? No, you're not. That's kind of sad. Come on, really? Local source Sublime debug test / Sublime debug test. Like that. And then we'll create a new file in here. Call this I guess we should probably set a build system, huh? Tools, build system, auto magic. Boop. Let's say Python terminus for that. And it works. All right. So we have a project open. That seems to be important. You need a Sublime project file. Just because I'm curious, we're going to edit the Sublime project file because I want to see if it's going to do something to it. Then we say debugger open. There's a little panel. Oh, look, it added a debugger configurations in here. Okay. Install a debug adapter by running debugger install adapter from the command palette. Okay. Debugger install adapters. Boop, boop, boo. Is it doing anything? It might be downloading some stuff. It might not be. It might have crashed. It's hard to say. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected that to do a little more than nothing. Yeah. Install adapters. Should it actually be doing anything? Did it say that we should quit and restart Sublime? Or no? Yeah, that does seem a little bit funky. It seems like it should do something. But let's click this. The Python extension supports debugging of several types of Python app. Okay, that's just the actual thing. So here's what we're going to do. Just because, switch to File tab. No, does it have to be inside of a certain type of file? Yeah, it's fun, right? I would expect something in the console, but here, let's do this. Let's quit out and restart all fresh, because sometimes if there's a see, it may or may not have done all of the installation that it required, But now if I say install adapters, look, now there's a list of them. And weirdly, it's on the right-hand side. You can't see it. It's under the chat. Hang on. We want the one for Python. I quit and restarted Sublime after I did that. Unfortunately, here. Let's do this. What, did that open a whole new window? Well, am I in the wrong? No, that's fine. Here, let's just close that one because I got too many of these things now. Where did the panel go? All right, fine. Anyway, that did a thing. It kind of annoyingly scoots it to a window on the right-hand side, but nevertheless, we have a debugger actually installed now, so that's cool. Next. Consult the debugger-specific documentation for creating configuration for your debugger. Most debuggers come with some configuration snippets to choose from, but I highly recommend looking at the documentation for the debugger. All right. Well, let's take a look at that thing, shall we? Oh, I guess we need to add configuration, right? There was an item there. Want to add a configuration for Python. And default launch or default attach. Let's say default launch. Name, debug Python, type Python, request launch. All right, I guess we're going to save that up. That's neat. Now what? Click the gear icon to select a configuration to use. Okay. I guess we're gonna... Why are there so many empty items in here? That looks weird. I'm gonna choose debug Python. Click the play icon to start the debugger or run debugger start. All right. Bold fields, program and module and configuration are empty. See, this is where I might be running, yeah, I was gonna say, I might be running into problems because I don't normally care about debuggers, so I never actually fiddle those kinds of things around in the general case. Add program, file, and debugger configuration. Like so. Do I have to reactivate it now that I did that? All right, so I guess I probably need something that's a little more fantastical than this, huh? I assume I can set a breakpoint over here or something. Hey, that's neat. Here, let's set a breakpoint on all three of them. And run. It stopped there. What do these things do? Continue. Oh, that was a frame skip. That's not cool. Oh, now it says, thank you. Is there a way to tell it to stop putting stuff in a side panel here? And making it go away all auto-magically? That's kind of disconcerting. Oh, is it doing a multiple select kind of thing here or something? All right then. Saib, have you gotten it going this far? Or is it still not necessarily working for you? Their documentation should probably say that you should quit and restart Sublime to get it to notice that stuff has changed. Shouldn't always be necessary, but it never hurts. And I would imagine that something went kind of funky in there. Oops. Starting. Let's see. Which one of these? Which one? Is that the step? Should it? No, I guess I should actually save that to disk, huh? Yeah, that would probably explain some stuff. That's not how I'm used to that working. 1, 2, 3. It worked. There you go. Yeah, that's don't forget to actually save your file to disk. I'm used to doing this, and it makes sure that the file is saved. So there's that. Oh, you could probably also do this as well. That is some pretty keen styling action for this thing. Because this is all HTML. Use arrows to run X9. Which arrows? Like these things here? Step over, step out, step in. All right. Continue. Oh, continue to the next breakpoint, right? Oh, here. How about we did something like... and then move these things in. Whoops. Type it correctly, guy. I don't need any of those. Save it. Run it. And it stopped at this breakpoint. Let's step in, shall we? That's this one. Boop. And then 1, 2, 3, and it worked. May have been skipped because of just my code option. Try setting just my code false in the debug. Indeed, yeah. See, why do they sometimes have tooltips and sometimes not? That's kind of funky. Well, maybe I'm that is here. Just because I'm curious. No debugger package, huh? That whole opening something on the side and then making it magically vanish away, I find personally kind of irritating. If I want it to be there, I want it to be there, and if I don't want it to be there, I don't want it to be there. I don't need you to fiddle the content of the window around. What else is available in here? Quit, start, add, clear, clear. Input command? What's that do? Oh, an actual debugger command. Gotcha. I guess it's trying to do something like make those panels kind of disappear-y. Anyway, that's kind of interesting. I might actually play with that a little bit for Node.js related stuff. Let's do this. Package report. OA package report. Look at the debugger package. It has a dependency of PTY process. Oh, also used by Terminus. Interesting. They both use the same version. I wonder why I needed to restart that then. That's kind of interesting. But in any case, yeah. When in doubt, when you install a package, you can quit and restart if it seems like things aren't necessarily working the way you want, because Depending on the author of the package, it might only do certain things, be able to perform certain kinds of setup operations on a fresh start and not necessarily during an installation. Variables, you say? I guess you better give that a try. I would probably assign that to a key. Oh, is it up in here? Add configuration, select or add configuration. Clear, clear, clear. I assume you can do the exact same thing elsewhere too, right? Like, theoretically, for the awesomeness, it should be able to do it from there, you know? Oh, maybe? Toggle column breakpoint. Ooh, that's extra fancy, isn't it? Can't see it doing anything over there. Oh, you can. It's the panel is below my face on the screen here. There's a list of modules. Here, if I do this to size the window, since it's kind of egotistical about what it thinks should be displayed in the window at any given point, we'll just have to force the window to be the correct size instead of having control over our own layout. But there's a list of variables and functions and such. There's something called function at that location, so that's kind of neat. And then if we start this thing running, it stops at a breakpoint. We go in. Should there not be a local called X in here? Oh, I suppose I have to go over the line first, huh? Now there is. Oh, hey. Let's do that. Do you have key binding set up to this to make that whole operation easier to do something with? Well, that got pissed off real quickly. Why are we unhappy here, bro? That's a little weird. We're going to step over that. We're going to edit the variable to be some other text, and oh, it doesn't like that. Oh, edit X. How is that part supposed to work? The expression is just named X. I see. Now it's changed. Right. I see what it's doing there. Oh crap. I meant to click the other button. Shoot, hang on. Oh, whoops. We click it over here. We edit the variable. Some other text edited inside the debugger. And hit that, and then continue. And the result is 1, 2, some other text edited inside the debugger. It worked! This has really come a long way since the last time I saw anybody talk about it. List of breakpoints. Breaks when expression is true. Breaks when hit count condition is met. This could actually be kind of cool. Well, any other information that's available in here? Tasks are based on Sublime build systems with more integration so they can be used more seamlessly while debugging. When errors occur while running a task, they're reported in the debugger UI. Tasks are basically the same as Sublime builds, but there are a few additional parameters. Name, which will show up in the debugger UI and be the name of the panel. Is that what we have in this file already? That's a debugger configuration. That's not a task. Indeed. Yeah, and keep in mind that Sublime doesn't have the power to let you generate your own arbitrary UI. So this is all being done with a combination of HTML that's being displayed inside of a panel. And the HTML system that Sublime uses isn't fully compliant with all possible tags that HTML can contain. But yeah, I'm just going to go over here and add a thing for package coverage debugger. This seems like a cool package. We played with it in the May 30th live stream. Go ahead and create that task in our little list of stuff. I would imagine so. Well, let's find out. I don't have a very sophisticated thing going here. Let's do this. Whoops. And then we have a couple of files. That should still work, right? So what was the question there? Does it have support for jumping to files in the log? Okay, well, first thing, one thing I want to test here is if we did that and did a start, and then we step in, it finds the file that's already there. Well, let's just continue, and it worked. If we were to come over to here, so that file wasn't there, and do this, and then step in, it opens the file, and then we can continue, and all is good. So the next thing was it talked about debugger tasks. I assume that needs to be inside of the build system as well. Could that particular, or inside of the project, I should say. Here, so let's see. Let's do this. Name. We'll call this ODAT Nerds Test Configuration, and let's say that that's going to be a launch. It's not going to be attach. Now, what do we put in this debugger name thing here? Python, I suppose. When Sublime, debugger.sublime. Oh, wait a minute. Does it actually have configuration that it just doesn't expose? That's whack. Adjust the estimated character with calculation. Monospace. Which external terminal should be used when an adapter requests an external terminal? Terminus opens a new terminal view using Terminus. The Terminus package must be installed. All right. So it has... you could actually change the layout to be in a slightly different way. Though I guess it doesn't necessarily allow you to keep stuff working the way one would want it to. All right. That's neither here nor there. That thing said that tasks are based on Sublime build systems with more integration so they can be used more seamlessly while debugging. When errors occur while running a task, they are reported in the debugger UI. You must add file regex to your task. Tasks are basically the same as builds, but there are a few additional parameters. Well, technically, build systems have a name, but nevertheless. Yeah, okay. I know. It's cool. Stay slinky, bro. Technically, we want something like that and that. It's really all we need for this operation. Whoops. Copy. Thank you. I gather, because it's supposed to be a build system, we do something like that. Hello, World All Game Trying. How you doing? So let's see. Now that we need to be able to say, let's put the actual files up over here. Do we want that one? No, we just want something like that. And I'm going to say, whoops. Run task. Test configuration. And it got an unexpected keyword argument request. Alright, just to verify that that totally works there. What the hell are you so cranky about, bro? Was there a field in there named request? Oh yeah, there was. Alright, well. Run task, test configuration. Still didn't like that, huh? Here, let's get rid of those windows so we can test it again. Got an unexpected keyword argument type. I have a now it's unhappy about the keyword argument type. See, that seems less like a thing and more like an actual build. Run task. You. All right. So what's the deal now? We gotta break it somehow. Here. We don't need you. We go over to here. Let's do that. That'll break it real good. Wait, what does that do? Okay. Task to run. ODAT-nerds test config. Schwamp. Didn't like that so much. We should be able to double click that. No, that, no, that, no, that, no. What if we do it here? Well, it works to double click on those things in a build. So, if that's the case, then should be able to do it here too. But no. That's odd. It did say that that's something that's supposed to work, right? While running a task, they're reported in the debugger UI. Oh, it says problem detection is the same. Detection of things is different from that, because it did add this. That's something that a build would do, in theory. So notice that well, I'm not using an active, which build system am I using there? This one here? If I use the built-in build system, then it actually does that. Terminus doesn't do that. So that is telling us the error in that particular case. If I did the build with Terminus, it finds the problem and lets you navigate to it, but it can't display it because it doesn't know how to do that. And if we debugger run task and pick that one, then it does error detection, but it doesn't necessarily jump you to that particular location. You can run tasks before and after debugging by adding pre-debug or post-debug tasks to your configuration. Okay. Project settings can be changed by appending debug. All right, debug. Yeah. Normally, if I saw something that said add debug to the setting name, I would be kind of confused by that because that's indicating that you're debugging, but we're literally debugging in this situation. We're not debugging, we're debugging, so I can totally see where it would have come up with that as a thing. Yeah. That's not too shabby overall as a potential thing to play with. Except for the fact that these other things that are in here, it's not doing what it says. Unless I'm doing it wrong in the project. I guess the other question would be, if we did that, you can drag select over the gutter? That's intriguing. I was not aware of that. I don't know that it necessarily went anywhere, but there's a fair few things that are exciting things that are happening. In the most recent build, syntax highlighting got better. We now have scope-based folding. That might be something that you're unfamiliar with. That's the big feature at the current time. Syntax-based code folding instead of just being indent-based. I can't remember which build was which. As far as, I think 4126 was the last stable build, but I can't remember. But for that sort of thing, the magic of what we're talking about here is that's a bad example. We need to find the test. This syntax-based folding is happening even though it's not indented, which wouldn't otherwise work in previous versions. So instead of just having indent levels be the thing that's responsible for it, it now knows this is where folding should start and this is where it should stop, kind of thing. I don't have a good example of that off the top of my head, though. But, yeah. Yeah, I would say Sublime's not necessarily making a comeback so much as it's just always been here, but people are paying more attention to it now because it's faster than it was before, better than it was before. But there's usually always something big in the works. It really depends on what you mean by big, though, I guess, is the technical situation there, because it could be something that is a heavily anticipated feature, something that people have asked for a while, or the kind of performance improvement that sets the stage for further things and advances Sublime as something that's even faster than all the other stuff combined. Do something like that, and let's reopen this bad boy. All right. All right, that works a treat. Now, I guess the real question is, can we make this do something in Sublime Text 2? Because that's definitely not going to work. For example, all of the stuff that we have in here. Hang on, let's put that in a position where everybody can actually see it, huh? Import OS, sure. Import sys version is Python 2.6, so that's one thing. If we check here, stop it. Self.window. Oh, sorry, it's just window.activeView returns a view object. File name is the name of the file. If there was just a new empty file, it would be none, as we see there. So that part will do the right thing. Whoops. Window.folders does something like that. Those are the two folders that are actually available in here. We don't want to delete it. We want to remove it from the project and remove it from the project. So now the list of folders is empty. Here's where it starts to get a little sketchy. Window.project data does not work. So that's sort of the issue here. Yeah. I don't think so either. I think there was a period of time, because Sublime Text 3 stayed in beta for a long time before it eventually got officially released as version 3, which kind of coincided with Will being on the team and pushing some stuff through, and now Ben is the lead developer. So I don't know that is a comeback, because yeah, I don't think it ever actually went anywhere. Let's do it. I'm gonna go blind with that thing, though, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll call this test plugin. And it's gonna be super cranky about it. Oh, I can't even clear the console at this point. Just gotta do this. Someone asked a question about this on Stack Overflow. It's not going to do what we want. There's no view package file, is there? Oh. Man, how do people work like this? Hang on a second while my network file share wakes up. And it'll still have the appropriate thing, so cool. You go like you, and then we copy that over to here, but maybe we remove all those, and now oh really? Oh wow, it's pedantic. All right, well, here, let's go fix that in our sample, shall we? Because we don't want the world to get too cranky at us for how complex that is. So if we add this folder to the sidebar, it's gonna blow up in our face because ain't no way to do such a thing. That figures. Here. Let's see. Window run command exec and will that work? Nope. No shell commands in a build. Yeah, there's a guy on Stack Overflow that insists on living in the past. I have answered several questions for him in the past, and they've always been Sublime Text 2 related questions. Like, why don't you upgrade? And he's like, why don't you answer my question? I don't know why anybody would want to use Sublime Text 2 if Sublime Text 3 or 4 was available, but to each his own. I gather that he actually uses Windows, so that's probably an end run on actually getting it. Now, it could potentially be that it's a system that's so old that newer Sublimes won't run on it or something. Who can say? I'm curious about such things. Yes, sir, I am. The thing that we're looking for here is you, my friend. Exec is going to take command. Command. It's going to open a window, isn't it? Yeah. I guess we technically don't want that. We want to just do what this is doing. What the hell is the thing that tells you the build number? Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, Sublime version? Oh, whoops. Ba-ba-ba. Nope, 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 nope. You don't even have the right icon. I guess we probably want a little something like that, huh? Oh, you know what? Maybe we don't even do it that way. Can you define a function this way and then invoke it the other way? Yeah, I know, right? Since we're using that name. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. How does one do such a thing? Oh, we don't have that in there anymore, do we? We removed it. I think it's got some sort of active. I don't have a package installed for that, do I? I don't even have package in. No. All right. What we're really trying to get at here is a function that we would create called add path to window. In a particular window, let's say. And it does something. And generally, it would do this unless it's Sublime Text 2. So I think we would do some. Oh. Oh, how did it not get angry about that? Oh, wow, that should piss it off hardcore, should it not? That should also. Oh, hey, maybe that didn't work because I did it wrong. If it's less than 3,000, do that. No, still unhappy about that, huh? All right. I think we're going to need a little something like that, yeah? Then we grab that and go Boop. And everywhere we see self.window, we just replace with window. Otherwise, we need to perform some magic here. I guess this could actually be a thing. Just don't like it. Uh-huh. In that case, we don't need the window in here anymore. Whoops, we got to put those back the way they were. Yeah, I have to assume that that's the reason why that's happening, because otherwise someone's, really just, it's just really whack, all else being equal. Let's hard code this. The thing that exec is doing is this. Don't care, don't care, don't care. That we do care about. If path, let's say we're not doing anything with that. We're not updating, we're just doing this. You necessarily need to wait for that to know that it's killed? Probably not, huh? I guess we need OS. We got OS. Huh. I'm guessing we don't actually need to pass anything into those things at all. Wait, oh, what's that? Do we even need that stuff? Probably not. I think we just need to do that. And what was arg list? That's the actual thing that's being run, right? Let's see how this thing's actually called. I've not plumbed the depths of this. Yeah, args list is the command that's passed. Right. So that would just have a command, and that would have a command. Anything else we need there? I don't think so. Oh, no. I think they just need to do that, right? Put that in there so that it doesn't bung us up here. And then we can say run command and -a and path as the third thing. And now I need to know where this thing actually lives on my system. CD local For me, it's there. Sublime Text. So if I did that correctly, then if we right click in this and click add folder to sidebar, it blows up in our face, or it just not turned on. Well, that didn't necessarily invoke any crap, did it? Python 2.6 subprocess. How does that work? Oh, ow. Args, boom. A string or a sequence of program arguments. The program to execute is normally the first item in the args sequence or the string if a string is given but can be explicitly set using the executable. Okay. std in, out, and errors specify the executed program standard input, output, and error file handles. Valid values are pipe, an existing file descriptor, an existing file object, and none. Pipe indicates that a new pipe to the child should be created. With none, no redirection will occur. The child's file handles will be inherited from the parent. Additionally, standard error can be standard out. Alright, and those are all defaulting to none, so we shouldn't really give a crap about them one way or the other. So in theory, I think that should have worked. Except for the fact that, you know, it didn't. Oh, did it, I guess I probably need to do this, huh? Wait, why did we get that as a problem? In add path at line 63. Oh. Why can I not resize this thing? But in any case, it's disabled now. If I remove that from the project, it comes back. We caused this thing to actually work in both. The only problem is you need to tell it where your copy of Sublime Text is installed. So let's do this. And let's further do a little bit of that. Should still work. we actually even want to put that there? I don't think we do. Let's do this. Let's name this run subble, like so. And then we'll just pass it the path. And then this can be path. And this can be that. Man, this is disconcerting. There it is. There it is. Alrighty. Cool. And then we just got to configure that. Actually, I guess we got to put this part here, don't we? Well, we'll edit the comment on the other system because that's going to be irritating. Let's say someone actually wants a key binding associated with this. I guess we would probably do something like preferences, key bindings, user. And the command, whose name I've already forgotten, is add file folder to sidebar. So, in theory, if we remove that and press Control-Alt-A, that should do a thing. No, you don't want to do a thing? That still works. Add file folder to sidebar. Oh, technically, we just don't want that. Why you no work? Oh, maybe because I'm pushing the wrong key like an idiot. Remove folder from project. Control-Alt-A. Control-Alt-A and Shift-Alt-A aren't the same key. All right. Could also add one of these. Control-A, Control-C, save. Come over to here. Do we actually need this window? No. I closed the wrong thing, didn't I? VPF, add folder to sidebar. Go like so. Do you still work, my friend? You do. That's fantastic and grandiose. This needs to point to the subble. Now here's the real question. Does Sublime Text 2 on Windows have a subble, or does this whole thing predate that? Only one way to find out, I suppose. Older versions. Where's the older versions thing? You. Oops. Downloads. Unzip -T. Sublime Text. Boo, boo, boo. It has a Sublime Text.exe, and that's it. All right. Back in the days of Sublime Text 2, all of the shipped packages were stored as pristine packages as Sublime package files, and one of the things that happens when you start it is it extracts them all out into the packages folder, because there was no such thing as installed packages and actually loading these things from inside of package files, which made it very, very hard to augment the contents of a package, because they would always be unpacked and clobbered over on update, which I think is part of the reason why the new system is in place for using installed packages. I guess we want to change the name of it if that's what it's going to call it. If you have the path to this, just because I'm curious. I closed that other one, didn't I? Yeah. Home, local, Sublime Text 2. Yeah. So, if you have the location for this in your path, this can just be name of executable. Run the configured Sublime Text executable, asking it to add the path that is provided to the sidebar of the current window. This is only needed for Sublime Text 2. Newer versions of Sublime Text have an enhanced add folder to sidebar. Let's change this very slightly to say that if it's greater than or equal to 3000, do that. Add the provided path to the sidebar of this window. Three or beyond. Adjust the contents of the project data. On Sublime Text 2, it is required to execute the program manually. think that is pretty much going to do it. We're going to do one more little test here just to make sure that that's actually working. So if we remove from that, we can go like whomp. Okay, and let's go ahead and remove it from the project. And let's see. Assuming all of the indentation is now spaces, otherwise it would blow up in our face. And we need to rewrap that and that. Those parts are okay, but if we can get that part under 80, we're doing good. We got that. We got the trim trailing white space. Copy. Back to Sublime Text 2. Paste. Remove from project. Save. Quit. Restart Sublime Text 2. And choose Add Folder to Sidebar. Whomp. There it is. There are some lengths to which I will not go, but more importantly, I don't think that there are any versions of Sublime 1 that are actually available. I guess there must be, right? But they're not listed from the download page, so I'm not sure to actually get one. It might be interesting to actually try to use Sublime Text 1 or Sublime Text X just to see. But we have a plugin that will work in both cases, and it's more comment than anything else, as is generally the case for anything that I do. What I do need to do is add a little bit of documentation to this to say this is something that you could add to your context.sublime menu. You might also want to do this with a key and explain what this actually is, but I'm not going to make you guys watch me type that part out because that would just be for bad viewing, if you will. But we are approaching the 2-hour time limit that we have for these particular streams. So let's do this. We find the appropriate thing. So we can get ready to pop on out of here in a few minutes. We will be back next Monday again. I'm going to need to schedule something in because I don't have one. Yeah, but those are more complex comments than this. These explain what the thing is actually doing. The other stuff is going to explain why it is this thing exists and how to put it in place. And you saw that part live. Well, people that were here from the beginning did. But you already know how to do that sort of thing. Side note, I'd like to point out we're definitely going to be back next week. I am working towards getting channel memberships set up, which, if you're familiar with Twitch, is very similar to Twitch subscriptions. Only the lowest tier is going to be, I think, 99 cents, if that is one of the things that I can choose from there. Just because I get people asking, that they would like to support, and they can do a one-time thanks, or if they wanted to, you could hang out in streams and have a cool badge next to your name. I'm thinking of theming it the exact same way as they're themed on Twitch. The other exciting news is that on Thursday, a new laptop for video editing is arriving, and that means that once I get that and get my stuff all set up on there, production is going to begin in serious earnest on some more videos for the channel. Now, that doesn't mean that videos are going to start coming out in a couple of weeks or anything, because I'm trying a new method of doing videos where I come up with a topic, and basically what I'm going to do is record a bunch of videos ahead and do it in stages. So all of the camera footage, then all of the corrections to that footage and rough editing, and then assembling, and then doing the screencasts, and then uploading. So the first batch of videos could take a while to actually prepare, but once that's done, be prepared to get a video a week for a while, because they'll all be queued up and ready to just automatically release when the time comes. And then that'll give me time to come up with the new batch of videos and get them in while those things are going. That's the plan anyway. That also means that one of the potential membership benefits could be getting access to videos before they actually go live. I don't know if that sort of thing is actually interesting. I may need to do a little bit of a poll. Thanks, Cyberlenka. My room seems more packed than ever. I think it looks the same as it normally does, doesn't it? I think. It might actually be slightly brighter in here than it normally is, so it looks like there's some action back there. But that thing that you see there is the tripod for the camera, and then there's the table that's on it. One of the other things I got was an external hard drive, so it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes to move all of my backups from one drive to the other and set that up. One of the things that kind of gets in the way of doing videos, apart from the time that it takes to actually do it, which was in short supply for a while, and then I sort of was taking a little holiday from the hecticness of doing it, is in order to record videos and edit them, I would have to grab computer equipment, disconnect it from where it normally is, bring it in here, set it on the table to be able to do the recording and editing. Pulling stuff off the camera takes a long time, and now I'm going to have a dedicated setup back there that's just all video all the time. So that might be interesting. We might even stream back there. You know, people have suggested perhaps they want to see how we edit videos. That is something that we could conceivably do. But in any case, thanks everybody for hanging out. I will be back next Monday, and of course I'll be on Twitch on Wednesday and Friday as well. We're working on a brand new project. We've been working for a while on the same thing. We're moving into playing with Heroku and doing another stream game, so that'll be interesting. And if you've seen any of this and you'd like to go back and see some more, this VOD is going to be marked as unlisted as soon as the stream is done, but there is a playlist on the channel. Should also be linked down below for Sublime Text Live that should take you to all of the replays. And with that, I bid you all a fond farewell. I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll see you next Monday. And until then, please have a sublime day. Next.